An hour. It was quite funny because we were talking about what's motivation and what is motivation. And excuse me, there might be an occasion where I go, because I'm just recovering from man flu. Yeah, it was tough. You women are lucky you don't get man flu. Yeah. So we were just, today it was quite funny because usually when I give a talk, I put a slideshow together. It's always new each talk I give. And I was kind of half toying with just talking to you, just sort of chatting through it. And then I thought, no, last minute I thought I'd do a slideshow. And I'm sorry I'm moving around to the camera, I'm trying to stay. That's what I wanted to do. It's not some technical device, it's a recorder. Yes, okay, you're all radioactive, good, okay. In ending up writing this, it was so funny because I had a client I had to talk to at 3 and at 4 and at 5. So I had this morning to write it. And I'm writing away and I find half my morning wasted looking at funny clips on YouTube because I want to put up a funny video to stress a point. But I couldn't get the point. So I was looking through all these YouTube things to try and get something, and obviously I didn't. So it gets to 12 o'clock and I've still not written anything. So, and then, then I go, okay, so I start writing. The motivation, of course, was the deadline of 3 o'clock, where I couldn't do any work past because I had clients. And I'm writing away down, and I just finish. And I look at the time, 2:59. So the point is that I work, and what motivates me is a deadline. Deadlines are great for me. And if I don't have a deadline, I'll just float about and be creative. I'm a creative artist. Just fly about. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that motivational thing. Okay, so we're also going to have this, which I just, control my slideshow with my iPhone, my iPhone, because I'm that cool, yeah. So first I just want to say thank you to Sarah, who's not here, unfortunately, and Jimmy's also not here now. Jimmy Dunner, great. And thank you guys for coming. So I'll tell you a little bit about me. I'm a holistic psychologist. I work with bridging the gap between science and spirituality. So I work with body physics, I work with psychology of the mind, and I work with the biology of the body. Now, a lot of times in NLP work and hypnotherapy, the body is ignored. The nutrition of the body is ignored. And when I talk about nutrition, when I talk about nutrition, the byline of my book is living in balance and self-acceptance through science, spirituality, mindfulness, and nutrition. And when I talk about nutrition, it's not just physiological nutrition, it's psychological and emotional nutrition. And that's so important. And we talk about what motivates us, so we're going to go on to expand upon that. I'm quite an eclectic mix. Well, I like to call myself a holistic psychologist, so I blend all the different essence of what we are together. So don't worry about the science side. I make the science easy for you. Don't worry about that. I'm going to make all my slides available to you on my website, so anyone don't worry about scribbling notes, oh my God, what's this? Or whatever. You'll be able to download them later. Any questions, anything that's not obviously clear, just stick your hand up and we'll talk about it. Cool. Let's go. All good talks start with a quote. No exception. Confucius said, choose a job you love and you'll never have to work a day in your life. Now, this theme is what Jimmy was talking about the slob on the couch, not caring. And in a way, I find myself sometimes also not caring because one of those things that motivates so many people, money, I really don't care about. It doesn't motivate me in any way. I couldn't care less. I have enough money to live. I don't need anything. What I really crave is this. What I crave is an audience, so I can perform. Because I'm a Leo, and that's what makes me happy. And really, it's Star Trek style. I could be happy just performing all day. Comedy, performance. And really what I like to do is enchant. It's one of my essences. When I ask my heart what it wants. And that's what we're going to talk about. Where is it that you ask the question of the person, what is it you want? You know, that Jimmy was talking about going into the gym and saying, oh yes, yes, you better do this. This is good for your muscles. This is good for the yes, I think your muscles need that. As opposed to what is it you want, what is it you need? And the reason why the kids in the schools feel disenchanted is literally that. They have nothing to feel, to enable them to embrace their heart. The schooling system suppresses any tuning into their instinct, any tuning into their essence of who they are. So when you ask them what do they want, they go into their head and they go, what should I want? What does society say I want? What does mum say I want? What does dad say I want? Now what do the Hollywood films say I want? You know, all those things are played about, and they're not true. They're not embraced with breath, with life. They're not unified with who they are. And so, in that essence of unification, I want to talk to you about duality. Any of you familiar with that term, duality? Yeah, a few. Okay, so it's getting a little bit esoteric now. There's a whole non-duality movement, which is all talking about, say, enlightenment, spirituality and enlightenment. One of my other hats is I teach meditation up to advanced meditation. So if you want to discover the meaning of the universe and you in it, then come and talk to me after. Talk about that. That's enlightenment and meditation stuff. Right now, this is practical stuff. So inside the practicality, this entire universe is made of two things. Duality. It's all twos. It's yin and yang, it's opposites. If there was just one temperature in the universe, would it be hot or would it be cold? Just one temperature in the entire universe. Well, you wouldn't know. You'd have no comparison. Everything is only what it is because it's not the other thing. I know it's a bit philosophical. Don't worry, it's down to earth. Once you get this, it embeds into the core of who you are. And when you approach your clients, you do it holistically. You do it embracing all of who they are. And you'll be able to help their problems shift dramatically faster because you're not targeting them from one perspective. You're embracing a holistic approach to them. And one thing we all have in common is we are all complete beings. Most of us anyway. So let's talk about courage, because courage, for me, is very important. Being a double Leo, I like this courage thing, you know. But it's very important, mainly because the origins of courage, they come from the old French courage, which means heart. So courage is literally heart. That's Lionheart. You know, in Robin Hood days, Lionheart is courageous. That's the whole point. And if you choose from this location, this heart location, as I say, it can be sincere. It becomes authentic of who you are, choosing from the heart. But we need to be brave to do that. Here's that point. So, this is your essence, your life. I wrote this like 3 seconds ago, this slide, just because I wanted to stress courage as a point. The important bit is that you choose from your heart. Because the heart is a bit like the female. You're going to like this, guys. A bit like the female, which is the womb, the circle, the embracer. The masculine energy, you see again, it's that duality, the masculine and feminine energy. And by masculine energy, I don't mean men. And by feminine energy, I don't mean women. I mean masculine and femininity in terms of a yin and yang, in terms of a dichotomy between logic and emotions, between declarative memory and procedural memory. We'll talk about those in a minute. The point is, everything seems to be split into this two-ness. Every concept, every emotion has its polar opposite. And what, as Jimmy was talking about, the emotions are the driving forces for what makes us motivated. So it's about not choosing from fear because you're afraid of something, but choosing because you are complete with it. I love this image, you know. It's just, for me, it embraces a kind of, you know, almost a kind of a courage, but almost a kind of to the system, which I think is important because so many people feel frustrated with the suppression of the system which has gone on top of them. Now, here's the point. It's not that suppression of the system is like, oh, I'm being overcast by some evil lord. Most people are pissed off because they are suppressing themselves. They're holding themselves, hello. They're holding themselves, they're holding themselves back. And that annoys them, and that's their limiting belief. And they come to you as coaches because they say, help me stop being annoying myself and holding myself back. How do I do it? I was having this conversation today. What is it that's getting in my way? And all you need is that mirror, that reflector. Say, there it is. Okay, that's all. So Bruce Lee, one of my heroes, he says, empty your mind, be formless, be shapeless like water. Water can flow or it can crash. Be like water, my friend. I would normally do a Chinese accent. I'm a bit snotty, so I don't feel able to do justice. But the point is that sometimes less is more, and that's what we're going to talk about. And I'm so happy to hear Jimmy's talk because he touched on all the points that I want to make. This really sums up the main essence of what I want to talk about. Effortless action. Effortless action. That's what life should be. That's what your work should be. That's what your play should be. That's what your lovers should be. Oh no, you have to work. You have to work at a relationship. Bullshit. You do not have to work at a relationship. You have to flow with a relationship. You have to dance with a relationship. Effortless action. That is the key. That's where we really are aiming at. Effortless action. Huh?
That's the switch. Switches things on.
Switches things on, yes. So yes, I do have a book. And inside the book there is that whole principle of serious science with comical cartoons. Yes, I do have cartoons in my book. So empowering through surrender. Please take a look at that afterwards. We have to make sure we follow the right science. The science are telling us the right things. Because often, we see things which are just in conflict with who we want to be and how we want to be. We need to look at those things. So, motivation. I'm very into origins of words. For me, they excite me. Motives, basically, is obvious. Motivation comes from movement. And of course, movement is motion, and motion is just emotion with E on top. And that is the energy. The emotion is the energy in motion. So if you, again, as Jimmy said, if you want to make movement happen, you go to the emotions. You go to the emotions and they're the driving forces. They're the things that lead you into one place or keep you stuck. Be under no illusion. The same force that can move you can restrain you. Some of my most difficult clients are the ones who have convinced themselves they're powerless, who have convinced themselves they're worthless and they're shit, and actually they're really powerful. And I come to them and I try and help them, I try and negate them, but no, they're there at each gate going, oh no, I shall not change. No, I shall not, I caught you, I shall not. And so the point is, it's like that adage, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world it did not exist. Yeah, you've heard that, haven't you? And it's the same inside human nature, inside our being. The greatest trick that our limiting beliefs can pull is to convince us they're not real. I mean, how can you tackle them if they're not there? Oh no, I don't have anything. No, I'm not holding anything in my right hand. My left hand even. There's nothing there. No, let go of the thing in your left hand. What left hand? Well, what do you say to that? Where do you go? There's no starting point if they don't admit it. So, okay. So here we're going to introduce this idea of duality. Every single thing is duality. This is the brain. The brain. Left side, right side. Right side, left side. In the middle, the bit in the middle is known as the corpus callosum. It is the key factor in most mental illnesses. In depression, in anxiety, in schizophrenia, in all these bipolar, all these issues have some interaction or lack of activity at the corpus callosum and stop the integration of the two hemispheres. So our mental breakdown, our chaos inside our system happens when we don't dance in harmony with each of our sides. Okay? So if we just take one element, right, what are our goals? Get your goals down, write that list. Come on, right, what are you doing now? Come on, get the whip like an army, whipping them into shape, come. There's no essence of love. There's no essence of heart there. So it might work for a little bit and you will be exhausted. You will be exhausted at the end. And your client, as soon as they stop seeing you, fall back into that pattern. They'll fall back into, because nothing will have shifted. Because it won't be holistic. The other part of our human nature I want to touch on, I don't want to go too deep into it, I do go in more detail in the book, in one of the chapters, but this is one of my passions, is understanding the dichotomy in the body, because biologists don't understand this, medical doctors don't understand this. This is the nervous system, central nervous system. And inside the nervous system, it too is split into the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system, the on and the off, okay? It's all split, and again, you go in, it's split even more, right? But taking it at this wider point, you've got the neurological system in one sense, and you've got this collagen matrix, or the living matrix, which is the connective tissue of the body. Now this is very important, especially from a therapeutic point of view. If any of you, how many therapists are in the room who are a body therapist? So you'd either work with the body, or work with nutrition, or work with something that alters the biological makeup of the body. Like massage therapists, acupuncturists, nutritionalists. Oh, you're a bit scared. Or of each other, I haven't worked that out yet. Okay, the point is, this is important, and I'll explain why. Just to stress to you this dichotomy, this yin-yang, this masculine, feminine, this left, right, white, black. It's all this duality, and there's a reason why it's important. And we're going to do an exercise in a minute, or in a little minute, in a minute more. That doesn't make sense. We're going to do an exercise in a while that is going to look at our masculine and feminine sides, because everyone has masculinity and femininity inside them, just like everyone has emotional and logical inside them. So when you're dealing with someone who's blocked, you need to tackle both sides. Here's the crux of it though. Tackling itself is a masculine energy. Tackling is an activity. Whereas, what is the non-activity of coaching? How do you non-actively coach someone?
Understanding, encouraging.
Yes, there's definitely encouraging and enchantment and understanding, of course. So that is all providing space, isn't it? You're not actually saying, do that, change that. You're kind of going, and that's led me to work in my coaching work. I created something called spiritual life coaching, which is a kind of paradoxical irony, because it both looks at goals and achieving them, at the same time as saying, you actually don't need to do anything to be happy. So it's that sort of paradox. What, you're putting yourself out of work? Yeah, so I don't need you. No, you don't. But that is the world we live in, this dual, this paradox. The yin and the yang. And of course, men and women are generally different. This is a scientific chart that outlines the difference between men and women. It's not as funny as the other picture. The other picture is better, which is on and off. But too cheesy. I like this one. It's a bit more complex. But there is a simplification going on, and we're going to talk about it more. And you know what? I don't want to do this exercise yet, but we will come back to it. It's called your yin yang, and one of the things I do is, as I said, I teach meditation, and this is one of the main exercises I do in one of the classes. We're going to we'll come back to it, and we'll look into it. But I think I want to do it at the end, so you can fall into it a little bit more. Cool. So, again, as Jimmy said, less can be more. Sometimes small effects reveal greater results. And again, backing away can often allow things to occur. It's kind of like the rabbit coming out of the hole. You know, come on, rabbit, got a carrot for you. And you go jabbing it in the hole. Rabbit! It's not going to come out of that hole. You just put the carrot on the floor, you go sit, you stay very quiet. Oh, it's so comfy, see? You go sit very quiet. And you just wait. And sometimes with clients, that's exactly what you need to do. You need to back away, but stay present. And that's a key that's very rarely taught. Backing away and staying present. And for you to be able to master that, you need to practice it in yourself. And practicing it yourself, that's where meditation comes in. And yoga, if you wanted to go down the yoga route. But, you know, you really need a good teacher for yoga, because a lot of yoga teachers are just, okay, and stretch, and do that, and now stretch, and go lower, and sweat. Yeah? If you find a conscious yoga teacher, brilliant. It's all about breath, it's all about the moment. Yoga means union, to join with. And what you're actually doing in yoga is you're joining the opposites. You're joining the stress of stressing your body with the breath and the relaxation of the moment. So you're unifying the duality. That's the whole point. In meditation, what you're doing is you're unifying the breath with the awareness. You're being completely present, completely still. And what that does is it enables a space in you to grow so that other things can grow into your space. So it's the less is more. All the time we're thinking, and in society programs us to think, okay, what can you do next? What's the next step? Keep going, keep fighting, keep pushing. It's not that. It's push and step back. Push. It's kind of like a gay dance. Push and step back. Yeah? It is a dance. And enabling space is the main thing of that dance. It's like putting a plant in a larger plant pot. If you want that plant to grow, you don't stare at it and keep feeding it bio-feed. What's it? Biomass feed? Whatever that weird little Orangina-shaped brown thing is. Anyway, you don't just keep pouring that on. It will eventually just die. You put it in a bigger pot. And you have patience, and you have love, caring. And that's what we do with our clients if we really want shifts to occur, especially when they're stuck. There's something in physics, and again, I don't want you to get caught too much on it. It's called phase transition. It's something in physics and quantum physics and even biological physics, which doctors don't really know anything about, but it's kind of on the forefront now. It's called phase transition, and what that is a very tiny bit of information can create this cascade of change through the system, and that's a biological fact. That happens. As above, so below. The fundamentals of the biological system are the fundamentals of our psychological system. It's all a mirror copy. You know, the mind is the mirror, is the opposite of the body. It's the yin and the yang of the body. So one of those things, space, you know. Do you remember these? Yeah? Is anyone old enough to remember you used to get these in cereals? Yeah? Or young enough? And you remember you used to start like this with a Smurf or whatever. Donald Duck, I think I remember one. And it had this space, and you pulled that circle out, and you've got that space, and you juggle it up. But what could you do to that if that was still in? Come down. The only way that you could rejumble the meshed thing is if you had the space within which to slide things and move things. And what do you do to make space? You know, how hard you have to work to create space. It's like our head almost goes mad with it. Like, oh my God, if I can calculate it, hold on, I need a pen and paper. There's nothing to calculate. And this is where you get this musical jamming from. This is where the creativity of life comes in music. We'll talk about music a bit in a minute, but have you ever wondered why every society on the planet loves music? Everyone loves music. Well, if you're a bloody terrorist or a this, or a whatever, or a racist, or a this, it doesn't matter. Everyone loves music. Hitler loved music. Music embraces something in us. It's a series of on and offs. Sound is only sound because there is a space between each wave. If there was no space in the words, there would be no meaning. So the meaning really comes from space. And the same with songs, with music itself. It's the space between, and there was a very famous pianist, and I was trying to think of who it was, but I couldn't find it. He said that someone said, "Oh, you play those notes fantastically." And he goes, "No, it's nothing to do with the notes. I play the space well, or I hold the space well. It's all about the space between the notes." Now that's not discluding the notes, of course, because that would be playing the same game, the same, I'll label it masculine-orientated game. The reason I label it masculine is because masculinity is the arrow, it's the shooter, it's the scorer, it's the achiever. That doesn't mean that men achieve and women don't. That's not what I mean. In order to do something, like, for example, let's take the real archaic, masculine man who's out, hunting. Hairy chest, hunting. That was the language I spoke back then, by the way. So they're hunting away. And they're in the jungle, and there's tigers, and there's lions, and there's snakes, and there's all dangerous things. And there's things they need to hunt. And so they see so here they are, focusing. Oh my God, a lion. What did they do? What did they do? "Oh, mate, there's a bloody lion over there! Watch out!" Eat. What they did is they had to stay small. They had to stay focused, and they had to stay quiet. They had to be focused completely on that moment. Otherwise, they'd be eaten and evolutionarily they will be bred out. So the ones that survived were the ones that could pay attention to the actual moment completely. No attention lost on, wonder what my wife's doing at home. Wonder if the next tribe has come round and having a bit of fun with my wife or whatever. It was like, I am here, there is nothing else in the universe, it is me and this lion. They're the ones that survived. I once asked a room of people, what were the women doing when the men were out hunting? One woman put her hand up and said, "Waiting for the men to get home." I said, Jesus, come on. Embrace your femininity. Women were creating language, were creating culture. They created the space, the womb within which everything unfolded. They were the plant pot, so that the plant could grow. Now, this doesn't mean that women are women and should be just vessels for men to come and grow in. We are talking about pure masculinity and pure femininity. Nobody is pure masculine or pure feminine. We're all a blend of both. But ladies, when you drove here tonight, or got the bus, or however you got here, it was your masculine side that did that. Because you went, all right, I've got to get there at that time. There was a goal set. All goals have a target, and that is the masculinity. Communication, relationships, talking. Now, my feminine side is talking to you. Because there's a kind of space that I'm creating. And the masculine side is kind of piping in and having a few goals. But as you can see, I don't really have much direction. So it's like the feminine side is present with that. It's the space, it's the community, it's the collaboration, it's communication. So, in a sense, the space comes from your feminine side, which isn't, just remember your mum. Mummy energy of a baby. It's like, I don't have any kids at the moment, and my brother has 2 kids. And I remember my little girl, Bella, beautiful little girl, and she was like 2, and I took her to the library. And honestly, I'm great with kids. Kids love me. I talk to them. But after about 2 hours with this kid, I was, oh my God, I'm so bored. I need to kill myself. I couldn't do it. Whereas, the female, the woman comes out, the mum, Katie, comes in, and she kind of like, it's space for the child. It's like, just be. Just be, child, be. Religious, be, child, be. Whereas there was something like that needed to be sharper in me. Like, come on, do something. Let's learn something. Let's activate. Yeah, let's achieve. That's my masculinity. At the time, I was a bit more masculine. The point is, we need to be aware of our masculine and feminine side. That's what that exercise is going to do in a bit. All right, onwards. Oh, Alan. Alan Watts. Anyone heard of him?
Yes.
Good. More people should be saying yes. I encourage you to listen to Alan Watts. He's a beautiful philosopher and describes non-duality principles so elegantly that you just stop for a moment. And this is his point about the music. A quote, I won't read the quote out, but the point is that you don't listen to music waiting for the end point. Like, you're sitting there and you're going, oh, this is going to get good. This is going to be good. There it was, the last note. Did you hear it? No, it's the moment. You're flowing, you're dancing through life. You are experiencing every flow of it. So it's not a race, there's nowhere to get to. There really isn't. And that's a kind of irony somewhere, because as life coaches, we help people achieve their goals. But if there's nowhere to get to, then there's also no goals. That's the paradox. Most people avoid it. And you avoid it, fine, it's a little bit easier, but you won't be able to tackle those heavy cases. Because somewhere they need the entirety of it. And that means that there has to be some spirituality there. There has to be something that can't be compressed into a goal. And I'll talk about that in terms of visions in a minute. Visions, as opposed to goals. And they don't use visions in their work. Vision boards. Yeah? So the difference between a vision board and a goal board. And we'll talk about that in terms of the yin and the yang. Oh, I just want to introduce you to Ilya Prigogine. I don't know why I say it like that. He's not Italian. He's Persian. But I don't know, it's my Italian housemate that's got me on the Prigogine. And he had the Nobel Prize. Basically, again, he found that those very small, tiny things can have massive cascade effects in the body. Don't worry about it. I'll make the slides available. All I'm showing you is that biologically, this is factual. Tiny, tiny things can have massive effects. So when you reach an impasse with a client, try less. Try less. Back away. That's just the quote that came into my head from Pulp Fiction. I won't repeat it. So again, the heart's field. The heart's magnetic field, the electrical magnetic field, is 100 times, actually the magnetic field, is 100 times the size of the brain's field. The field of the heart. Emotional, logical. Now, for more information on that magnetics and how the magnetics interact, it's very important because it's what's going on in our body and it's what's going on in the person's consciousness. Read chapter 7 of Mindfulness. Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all, Aristotle. Again, he's talking about the duality. He's talking about holism. You've got to encompass it all, otherwise it's nothing. And what was that? Karl Marx. Is it? Oh, maybe it was Einstein. Is it? Science without religion is lame, and religion without science is blind. Something like that. Some Einstein quote. So this is what I want to talk to you about here. I know it might be a bit sciencey, right? But again, don't worry. This is the neurological system, your nervous system. Every sense you feel is a nervous sense. That's your conscious mind feeling that. If you touch the back of your hand, that's your nervous system. Your nervous system is a digital system. Again, digital analog, duality. It's a digital system. In other words, it's either firing or not firing. There's no firing more. There's no, I'll fire a little harder today. No, the neuron fires only the hardness it fires. So the signal fires. The The reason it knows that more pressure or more temperature is happening is because more of the neurons are firing. They're not firing any harder, there's just more of them firing, okay? It's a digital system, 1 or 0. It's a computerized system. The living matrix, the connective tissue of the body, the collagen fibers, all the same thing. The collagen fibers are the most abundant thing in all living matter, everywhere. They go into every single cell of your body. Collagen goes into every cell of your body. It's the only thing that does. The neurological system doesn't go into every cell. The connective tissue does. It's an analog system, which means just like the petrol gauge on your car tells you exactly what's going on. Imagine if the petrol gauge in your car was digital. Yeah, you've got petrol. No, now you don't. Okay? It wouldn't be very effective. Like everything in nature, in psychology, there is this duality. There is the digital and there is the analog system. The analog system is our unconscious. It's our unconscious mind. The digital system is our conscious mind. Our minds are split inside the biology of our body. Our unconsciousness controls most of the body, most of the mind. And it's all the procedural stuff. Procedural is like knowing how to walk. That's procedural. Knowing how to breathe. Procedural. Declarative is like knowing how to create a slideshow. Knowing someone's name. That's all actual knowledge that you can sort of forget. So, I won't stay too much, but as I said, these two types of consciousness. The subconscious or the unconscious is the connective tissue, and that encompasses the conscious, which is the neurological. And it's just important to understand that we have almost this duality, this separation inside ourselves of these two creatures, these two consciousnesses. And here you've got that thought stuff. Here in the neurological system, you've got when you ask the school kid, what do you want to do? Or you ask your clients, what do you want to do? Don't know. What's going to make you happy? Don't know. Just to be happy. What do you want? Just to be happy. Let's get specific. You know, as we know as coaches, you have to be specific if you want to shift the goal. Who was our first victim up? Who was just wanting to be happier, not fearful? Who was that? Anyway, wearing shoes. Hello. So it wasn't specific enough. So unfortunately, Jimmy had to say, thanks, I need some more specific. And then we had specific. So the point is, these are thoughtful. But here's the authentic, sincere. The word sin, nothing to do with religion. The word sin means to miss the mark. So if you're not here tonight, you're sinning. Right, so authentic, so sincere means to be right on the mark. Authentic action, that is the hard stuff. That is the true stuff. That encompasses the other stuff. So as long as you're going up into the head and sticking in the head, tell me what you think you want. And people go, right, okay, I'll create my goals. There'll be no heart behind it, there'll be no authenticity behind it, and they won't maintain it. They won't be motivated, and they won't achieve those goals unless you're behind them, whipping them the whole way, in which case you will be exhausted. And that, again, is not in flow. That's not what we're here for. I put it to you that we're here to help people tune in to their authenticity, their sincerity, their truth. And unless we're encompassing all of them, you can't be talking about truth. And it's not like truth as in like, oh yeah, God said this. No, it's their truth. Everyone's truth is unique. But everyone's truth is their unique combination of their thoughts, their mental, and their emotional essence, who they are. And for you to really help them tune and enchant into who they are, you have to go, who am I? And it's all right for you to say, I have no fucking idea. No idea who I am. That's all right. That's authentic. You know, it's like when I'm teaching, I give whole day workshops, work courses, week courses, and you know, teach about this, the science of this. Someone asks a tough question. I don't make it up. I go, I don't know. I'll get back to you. I don't know. There's an authenticity in that. And again, same with your clients. You don't know. Say, I don't know. That realness. I mean, who's felt that, who's shared something personal about their own life with a client to help the client unfold a little further? Yeah? It works, doesn't it? You know, because you show a vulnerability, a courage, because it takes courage to be vulnerable. You show a vulnerability, and they go, oh, okay. And you go, oh my God, really? I'm joking about that. All right, yeah, enough of it. Come on. Right, limiting beliefs. Okay, we need limiting beliefs. Anyone who wants to eradicate all the limiting beliefs, good luck living your life. Because I have a limiting belief that each step I take, my leg is not going to break into a million pieces, or the floor is not going to explode beneath my feet. That is a limiting belief. I have a limiting belief that this chair will hold my weight. That'd be so funny if it didn't. That is a limiting belief. We need them. In psychology, we call these heuristics, rules of thumb. So we need them to get on with anything in life. But at the same time, these are the things that might stop us, might separate us into keeping us stuck somewhere. Now, here's the thing about limiting beliefs. They are life forms. They're alive. It's alive! They're alive. Just like your emotions are alive. Your limiting beliefs are alive and want to stay alive. If you come up to a limiting belief and say, I'm going to kill you, it's going to be like, no chance, mate. I'll put my defenses up and I won't go out without a fight. That's a limiting belief. It wants to live like any life form. You see, here's the thing. We look around and we go, oh yeah, there's a squirrel. It wants to live. Or a cat, it wants to live. Or a human, they want to live. Or that screaming wrench in the next room wants to live. But we don't apply that to our belief systems. Why? Well, it's a belief, isn't it? Yeah, it's alive. That's why the belief goes around the world looking for evidence to make it stronger, to make it supported. If you believe I'm a dick, you are going to be listening to the things I say, and you're going to be waiting for those opportunities. I'm going to see what a dick. And you're going to be ignoring all the other evidence that says I'm brilliant. The point is, our limiting beliefs are what trap us. They're necessary, we establish that, but they're what trap us in a system. And they're the things that make you go through life and only see what you believe to be the case. So if your client believes they're worthless, they're useless, everyone hates them, then they'll be waiting for the opportunity to notice someone say, I'm a bit tired, I don't want to talk. Oh, you see? They hate me. See that? And they'll remember that above everything else. They'll ignore all the people who come and say, you're really nice, really aren't you? You're so friendly, thanks for sharing, it really helps me. They'll ignore all of that because it won't fit with a belief system. It won't feed any belief system. It's almost like there's no vessel to hold that bit of information. You know, it's like, this is my water vessel. All water goes in here. Where's my orange juice vessel? Oh, I don't have one. It just goes on the floor, wastes away. Well, what if I've just got vessels that are, you're horrible, you're worthless, you're useless, you can't achieve that, you're not good enough, all those things, then I'm just going to be filling these vessels. And even when there's nothing to fill them with, I still have no vessels that hold all the other good stuff. So they want to live it's important to recognize that, because then you treat them differently. You treat them differently. You don't treat them wanting to annihilate them. You don't talk to them like you want to annihilate them. Yeah? You don't want to annihilate them, because annihilating them is what? Masculine or feminine? Masculine. Destroy, kill, shoot! Which is useful in some cases. But sometimes not. Sometimes all the life form wants is to be heard, to be loved. Think about it. Why has this limiting belief occurred? Why has this limit occurred? It's occurred because they've learned it somewhere. Somewhere they've been told it. Mum beat them when they were growing up and told them they were worthless and never achieve anything. So they bought into the idea, I'm worthless, I'll never achieve anything. And you're in my way, get out, you're such a bother, get out of the way. And they bought into that, they believed it, and they carried it with them, and they looked around the world for evidence to support it. And they kept gaining more and more evidence to support it. And then they're coming along and you say, why are you holding that belief system? And they're like, what? What belief system? It's just me. I'm just useless and worthless. And they're holding it all. And they're Notre Dame punching around with it. And it's our job not to try and kill that thing of them, because as soon as you attack it, its defense mechanism will go up and go, no, they're evil, stay away from them, get sick, don't come to it, trip over, don't go to the course, don't do your tasks, don't do your homework. It will throw objections into the way, it'll put up barriers. It'll put up barriers that get in the way, and that's what will interfere with your motivation. So instead, treat these limiting beliefs with love. Ooh, the L word. Not allowed to use that in school. Treat it with love. What do you need? What do you want? What will make you feel good? Talk to the limiting belief like it's a person. How would that look? There's a real power in this. I'm going to show you this yin yang. What's my timing? Oh my God! I have rabbited on, haven't I? I want to show you this yin yang before you go. So make sure. Are there people rushing away? So, is there someone after me?
No, nobody calls ever phone.
9:30. People need to run away. Good. All right. Look, if you have to go, you go. You find me some other way.
Excuse me.
A round of applause. Thank you very much.
She's in hospital.
Okay, send her our love.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No problem. Okay. Yeah, she's a stooge. I paid her. She'll come back in the clown act. Okay, I'll get on with it. But what I'm suggesting is the best way to shift things that are being held is to treat them like life forms, because they are. Respect them like a life form. Honor them. Honor their life. Honor why they're there. They're there for a reason. They've been born, they've been given birth, they've been created for a reason. Respect the person at that time to stop them being disintegrated. I mean, I have one client who totally thinks she's the most horrific, worthless thing on the planet. And that she's always in the way of people. And that everyone hates her. And that she couldn't do anything right, and she's of no use to man nor beast, as my mum would say. Now, she developed that because she was adopted, and then the adopted parent told her she was worthless and hated her, and always compared her to the dead child that they had before, and it was awful. So she learned that as a defense mechanism. As like, okay, well, I'll just be that then. That can survive. Otherwise, she would just die. So it's a survival mechanism. So if you honor the limiting belief, rather than just go, right, how can we destroy this bastard? You actually come with heart to it. Does that sound like anything you've heard before?
We want more, yeah.
Say again?
We want more of that, but
You want more?
Yes.
Yeah. Less of the shit before, more of that. Good, okay, yeah. Okay, so, alright, so they're biased, yeah. Our consciousness fills missing gaps. So again, this is what I was saying about that. Is that we create patterns that aren't there. We create structures that aren't there. We see things as we want to see them. What's there? Make it easier for you. What's there? No, it's not. What's there? No, it's not. There is nothing there. There is no circle. There is no triangle. There is just three Pac-Men hanging out in a kind of semicircle going, hey, what's going on? And here's just a few rocks. Of course, we see the things because our mind goes, gap, fill. Make meaning, make purpose, make structure. Change. How could I mean by this? Oh, Charles Kettering. People are very open-minded to things so long as they're just exactly like the old ones. So change does hurt. And the key to shifting, I believe, is not about destruction. It's again, as I said, it's about embracing. It's about love. And you know, I called this talk Motivation in the Universe. The universe doesn't care if a star explodes or if a star is created. If a race dies or a species is born. It couldn't give a shit. It's perfectly happy, either or whatever. That's universal consciousness. Complete acceptance. Now that's spirituality stuff. Some people would say, well, it's just hippie nonsense, isn't it? Yeah, it sort of is. Because as creatures, as a part of the universe, we are apart from the universe. We aren't the universe. Mark is not the universe and will never be the universe. No matter if this vessel you see before you attains a certain awareness behind itself, Mark won't ever attain the awareness. That's again for more deeper philosophical discussions. If you're really interested in the meaning of life, talk to me because there is a way to access it. But now on to the practicality point. Mark the personality, like your personalities, wants to do practical things and achieve practical things. Wants to help people, wants to enchant people. If he was just like the universe, he wouldn't give a shit. He'd be like, what? Whatever. I don't care. And it's actually difficult because a part of me feels like that. Part of me really doesn't need anything. And so then where's my motivation if I don't need anything? Well, because this is my motivation. This brings me some sort of tingling happiness. I'm kind of like, And when I see someone sort of twig something in the audience, kind of go, and then furiously write something down and just realize, that makes me go, wow, that's nice. But what I do with my clients who don't want to move is I ask them, where does it hurt? Where does it hurt? Where does it hurt the most? And then I encourage them to go into where it hurts the most and to embrace that pain with love. Again, it's like, where's the limiting belief? Oh, just ignore it and go the other way. What, you think you're worthless? Oh, just go and do things that make you not worthless. That will help. Well, yeah, it sort of will, but you have to dig up the foundations in order to build the correct foundations. You have to like go and like say, what's going on here, guys? And in order to do that, there has to be heart, there has to be love, there has to be compassion. I don't believe in sympathy. Sympathizing is agreeing that it's pathetic. Sympathizing. No, be compassionate. Calm with heart. Compassion. Be compassionate. Just be present and heartfelt and loving. And you'll find that people shift without you doing anything. Because a lot of the time, it's not the doing that shifts people, it's the being. It's that being present. That's why when you share your emotions with people, and you be authentic and be present, you tune into the connective tissue of your body, the majority, the unconscious. You resonate with their unconscious, and they go, Oh God, authenticity, thank God. That's why people love pets, animals, and children. Because they're authentic. They're not like intending to do anything. Oh, Carl said, we cannot change anything until we accept it. Condemnation. I love that word. Condemnation. I could be an evangelist, I think. If only I believed in like religion and all that trash. I could be an evangelist. Condemnation does not liberate. It oppresses. Think about that. Think about it with regards to your clients. All your clients are doing, the ones that are stuck, are giving themselves a hard time for being stuck. There's no love to themselves. There's like, I'm stuck, that means I'm worthless, I am shit, end of. Jog on. Innit? I don't know if those three work, I'm so street cred. Yeah. So, alright, let's talk about goals and visions, innit? Right, so, we're talking about the duality, we're talking about the separations. We all know what goals are. Your goal set. Alright, what are your goal tasks? Are you achieving them today? Each day you should do things in the column that achieve the bigger column that lead to the other bigger column. You know that column? Right. If everything's built on duality, and we look at it in terms of yin and yang, we look at it in terms of this variety, we've got this logical and emotion, we've also got the goals and the visions. This is just like meditation. The reason people fail at meditation is because they try to achieve goals in meditation. They try to focus upon a specific task, sit there and go, not on the toilet, sit there and go, shh, quiet, I'm trying to be still, I'm meditating, you know. They try and apply focus upon presence. And focus is required for goals. Yeah, you need your clients to focus. Both of these are valid. Both very important. The majority of traditional coaching courses are all talking about goals. Focus. You need focus. All right, let me give you these focus exercises. Stare at this candle. It's actually a really good exercise. And then close your eyes and like imagine the candle. It's actually a really good exercise. Does anyone know about the candle exercise? He's rocking. All right, I'll give you. So, dark roomish, candle, and just have it somewhere so it's kind of like there. Yeah, you don't have to hold it, it's probably better just. And just stare at the flame. A minute or so. Yeah? A minute or so. And then close your eyes and just cover your eyes and look away. And you know how you see the inverted image inside your eyes? Yeah, oh, like a bright thing. Hold that inverted image. Hold it, hold it, hold it. That makes your mind go like this. Focus. All right, anyway, focus. Goals. They're logical, they're tangible, they're achievable. We all know those words, don't we? Oh, you've got to be achievable, your goals. Set your achievable goals so you feel good about yourself. Yeah, good, great. Visions. Visions are general. It's like attention. You pay attention without focusing. When you're watching a sunset, you pay attention. You're not focusing on anything, are you? Oh, look at that bit! Wow! No, you're kind of going, hey, do me, sunset. Wow. And you're kind of like stepping back, taking it all in. That's paying attention. And that is part of, again, the subconscious. The subconscious system. Remember the difference between the neurological system and the connective tissue, the subconscious system? The subconscious system is analog. It detects every single little tiny bit of information because it's piezoelectric. Oh, that's such a sexy topic. You guys know nothing about, probably. Piezoelectricity means pressure electric. It's what the body system is, like a crystal. Oh, it's so much information. Can't share any of that with you. It's annoying. The connective tissue of the body is analog, and it's also the attentive system. It's a system that goes, I am present, I am instinctive. It's the bit that is the gut instinct. That gut instinct is not just some random thing. There are brain cells inside the gut, but more importantly, you've got billions of bits of bacteria, friendly bacteria, healthy bacteria, that form a synergy with your system, that together form like a brain inside your gut. Just like a neuron inside the brain is dumb on its own. Billions of neurons in the brain become smart. Same with these little bits of bacteria. They're magnetic field detectors. They are detectors of things going on. That is what happens when you pay attention. That's what happens in meditation. Oh, yes, right. So the difference between focus and attention is important. It's that same blend between yin and yang, that same blend between declarative and procedural, same blend between masculine and feminine, the act of doing or the act of being. And it's when you can be both that the magic happens. Just like when the man and the woman come together, magic baby life. I don't know why my voice goes up when I think I've done it before. The point is, magic happens when you blend opposites. Magic happens when you blend opposites. It happens in physics, in chemistry, in biology, in psychology, everywhere. Remember that. If it's the one thing you remember from this, magic happens when you blend opposites. All right. I know we're getting on. Let's see what we've got. Oh, God, I do want to talk about sarcasm. Sarcasm is very popular in the UK. Sark means to tear flesh. If you sark a pig, you tear the flesh from its skin. Sarcasm is the tearing of flesh. I need to really put it into context of coherence and how we resonate with our authenticity. But if you think about it, when you're sarcastic, you're saying something you know is not true. It might be funny, but you know it's not true. So you're speaking out of resonance with yourself. So you're creating a disharmony inside yourself somehow, what psychologists call dissonance. You're creating cognitive dissonance inside yourself. So cut sarcasm out. Cut out these terms of should've, would've, could've. That's actually saying you shouldn't have, you couldn't have, you wouldn't have. The language that you use is so vitally important to how you move your consciousness, how you unfold, how you evolve your consciousness. You know, people like say, I'm getting there. How are you doing? I'm getting there. Getting where? Where's there? There is most certainly never here. That's the one thing you can say for sure about there. Damn it, holding things back. Sympathy again, we were talking about agreeing to the imperfection. When people say to you, let me think, we say to them, no. I love to push clients like this. I'm a real bulldog when it comes to it. Because they'll say, let me think. I say, no. They own your own power. Why are you asking me permission to think? So again, it's victimizing themselves. It's asking for permission to be who they are. Yeah, we know negative thoughts, projection, the secret. We sometimes defeat our own efforts to transform. Sometimes things are just completely pointless. That's my wife on the left. Oh, is it the second to left? Right. So I talked about the balancing of the brain. I talked about, again, etymology of intuition. Intuition means to watch over, to look at or to watch over. Intuit. To look at or to watch over, that's what intuition is. So start to use your intuition because that's what it is about. Being present, being conscious, just being... But in order to be present, you have to be present. Most people are living in the past or the future, the yin or the yang, the duality. Where's the middle? Right here. Because what's the dual nature of here? What do you think this is? Namaste, all that Indian stuff.
Is that mindfulness? Is that what it is?
You see, I wrote an article recently, you can read it on my blog, called Mindfulness or Mindlessness. Mindfulness is presence, sure, but it's logical presence. Real meditation is the dissolving of the mental. But yes, mindfulness is certainly being aware of the now. But mindfulness is just a term they use, I mean, like yoga.
But it's like living in the present, isn't it? Accepting the present as it is.
Yes, definitely a tool for getting there. Let's look at it as stabilizers on a bike. You need them to learn. And then we can advance from off mindfulness later. It's kind of like teaching kids in school that, you know, there's atoms and then there's electrons that run round. They don't. There's no such thing as a neutron and a proton. They don't exist. Certainly electrons don't exist. But we have to teach them that in order to help them unlearn it later on. So same for mindfulness. All right, one key with acceptance. You don't have to like it. You do not have to like something to accept it. The other thing I like to help reiterate is you are doing the best you can with what you've got. This is something I give my clients all the time. You are doing the best you can with the tools you've got. And there will never be another you. There will never be another you till the end of time. And since the dawn of time, you are the only one. That makes you feel a bit special, right? You fucking well are special. So is every one of your clients. Uniquely special. You're already on track, okay? This is more of the spiritual life coaching stuff. The other thing is, again, choosing from love, not from fear. The other big thing is most people are holding their breath because this is where their personality lives, at the solar plexus, right here. You know, this is chakra stuff, but the personality lives here. And this area is connected to the adrenal glands, adrenaline and noradrenaline. And most people are holding their breath and breathing like this. Because they don't want to drop the diaphragm and allow nature to breathe there. Because have you ever wondered how the air actually gets into your lungs? How do you breathe in?
Your nose.
Sorry?
Through your nose, isn't it?
Through your nose. Classic example.
Your nose
How
and then
does
your
the
throat.
air get into your body?
Your whole body.
How does the air get into your body? What's the process? Have you got a fan at the bottom of your lungs? Sucking the air in.
It's the diaphragm.
What happens to the diaphragm?
It raises.
No, it doesn't. There's a slight contrast. The diaphragm actually tenses, but the tensing process is only to get it out of the way. So it tenses and drops down when you breathe in. It's not attached to the lungs in the sense of it's like pulling the air in. It just gets out of the way. The reason we can breathe is because of the pressure of the atmosphere invading our body. That's why you can't breathe on top of a mountain, not because there's no oxygen, but because there's no pressure pushing in on your body. Your in-breath is you being had by the air, taking you against your will. Think about it. Your in-breath is actually surrendering to the pressure of the atmosphere invading your body, just like the same reason why wind blows from one place to another, because there's more wind somewhere than somewhere else. So this is why, you know, they used to, in hospitals, they used to, after somebody had died, if they saw someone die on an out-breath, like, and that's how I imagine it. It probably wasn't like that. But if they saw someone die on an out-breath, they would always get the new nurse in, and they'd say, this person's died, you just go, you know, tidy up and stuff. And then this nurse would be in the room on the own, and suddenly the body would go, because at some point, all the nerves in the body, all the cells in the body go, what the hell are we doing? This guy's dead. Let's all relax. They relax, the pressure of the atmosphere fills the body and it breathes in. They're not allowed to do it anymore, obviously. Ethics. Bloody ethics. The point is that your in-breath is not you breathing in, it's you surrendering. Your in-breath is you surrendering, giving up. Oh, no, we're taught never to give up. Society says, don't give up, fight, fight, fight. Think about all your clients who are fighting. I really want to change. No, really, help me, I want to change, I want to do. I'm reminding myself of Basil Fawlty. What does he do? He's trying to get Sybil to do something. The point is, the in-breath is a surrender. That's why people hold it. They don't want to surrender. They're scared. They're fearful. Especially if they're hurt in their emotions, in their personality. If they're attacked. If somebody tells you, you're horrible, you're ugly. You're not, you're very pretty. If someone said, you're horrible, you're ugly, where do you feel it? Where do you feel it? You don't feel it here, do you? Oh, God, that really hurt. Yeah. Well, you don't even feel it here. No, it's like here, isn't it? Someone betrays you. Who's been cheated on? Who's been cheated on? Come on! Share! Right, but you feel it here. It's like a wound here. That's because that's where the diaphragm is, that's where the breath is, that's where your personality lives. And if you're scared of being hurt, you will hold and compress the only thing you can, your diaphragm, your breath. The most important thing you can do is get your clients to breathe, especially when they're uncomfortable. Because as soon as they're uncomfortable, they're accessing the doorway to the pain. They're like, open the closet and go, oh my God, it's awful in there. And you're right, yeah. And you're like, okay, stay with it. And they're like, no, breathe. No, breathe properly. But it feels like I'm dying. Yes, it will. You are dying. That's the point. A part of them is dying. That limiting belief that believes it. So if you breathe through it, it can't stick. God, we are going off track. Stroke exactly on track. You've one job. That's to be you. To live your emotions. To be true with them. To breathe them. To embrace them. And that's the same with your clients. Like a stick. Where the hell are we? Oh God, we're nearly somewhere. All right, Plato. I love what Plato said. There are two things a person, he actually said a man, but I changed it to a person. There are two things a person should never be angry at. What they can help and what they can't. Two things you should never be angry at. What you can change and what you can't change. So what's left? Not much. Too spiritual. So what about motivation? Student says, I am very discouraged, Master. What should I do? Master says, encourage others. You'll know. You feel shit? Go make someone else feel better. Give that to your clients. Give it to them. I'm so depressed. Go and bring happiness to someone. And in that, they will learn how to unfold. They will learn what is their growth. Okay, nearly there. We're nearly there. Okay, being present. Ooh, I've got a video. Yeah. Let's see if we can hear this. Does it even play? Does it play?
Hello, I'd like to order french fries, a burger, and a milkshake. This is a library.
Anybody hear that? That's one of my favourite. Looks around. Oh, the library. Okay, that is about it. I really apologise for being such a speed monkey, but you can just see that it's about passion, it's about presence. And I had no plan really, even though I had that, what I was going to talk about. I just kind of went down to it. Yes, I have a book here. As I said, it's my book Evolve. And for Christmas, you can have the hardback for what the softback costs, which is 10 quid. So the hardback's 10 quid, it's usually 15 quid. Feel free to come and grab it. If you want more of me, I'm South Manchester, so I'm around. So feel free to come and hang out at any of the events I do. I have this, I've sent flyers around the Holistic Manchester, which is a group on Facebook, and I want to encourage you to join and to post anything you want to post on there. It's for people in doing holistic stuff. So yoga, meditation, NLP, coaching, all that stuff. It's a group for people. We've got 1,000 members in this area, in Northwest, in Manchester. So join. The next gathering event is on the 8th of December. People just come and hang out, bring veggie food to share. It's cool. Check it out, holisticmanchester.com. That's next Sunday, down in Hale. And I teach meditation from this cool space, yurt in Hale, Barnes, 4 times a week. The advanced one is for people wanting to discover that stuff I was referring to before. The other stuff is standard from beginners to advanced. We deal with different topics from more. Yes, thank you. Right, the yin yang. God, almost forgot. Okay, you all want to do this exercise? Yeah, great. Okay, we'll do it for you. Because you can take it home. You can take it home. It's more a concept you can take home with you now. Okay. Oh, that's my last quote. Oscar Wilde. Be yourself, because everyone else is taken. Oh my God. All right. Here it is. Yin yang. You know, we were talking about life forms and your limiting beliefs and all your belief systems being life forms. This is about finding your own internal yin and your own internal yang, your own internal masculinity and your own internal femininity, and labeling them, giving them names, deciding who they are, what they look like, how tall they are, what clothes they've got, what hair, stroke no hair they've got. So what I want you to do is just try this and see if you can access it. Just close your eyes. And while you sat there, and the raucous laughter is happening in the background, just give yourself permission to explore this part of yourself. Say to yourself, I give myself permission to know my internal being. Just do that, because most people block this process. Oh, it's silly. Oh, no, don't want to do that. Just give yourself permission to feel it. Let yourself go deeper into your consciousness. Almost fall backwards into yourself. Go as deep as you can imagine going inside your consciousness. It might be deeper into your head, deeper down, through into the core. Just fall into your center. And once you're in your center, or as far in as you've gone, just notice that there are 2 sides to you. There is a left side and a right side. And from the mist that might surround you, or it might be clear, out of the left side, your feminine side, the embracer of consciousness, the communicator, out of the left side comes your feminine side. Allow her to be formed into an actual being. Let her walk out, let her form out of the mist. What is she wearing? Or does she look like? What type of hair does she have? Just let her come out. Let her unfold. Use your imagination, by all means. What's her name? Ask her. Talk to her like a real being. And if she resists telling you her name, just encourage her in a loving way. What kind of vibe has she got? What does she feel like? What does she do with herself? What's her role? Ask her. What does she want? Remember, give yourself permission to do this. It's rewarding. Let your imagination fill it in. What does she want? What does she need? Where does she live? Allow the house, the home that she exists in to come out of the mist behind her. What sort of place does she live in? Go to that place with her. What's it like inside? Talk to her, get friends with her. She knows she can trust you. She feels something. She doesn't understand who you are, really, but she knows you are Just tell her you'll be back. Leave her there and just say you'll be back. Go back into the center. And then notice from that center point, you're gazing over to the right-hand side of you. And there, maybe out of the mist, again, forms your masculine side. One that wants to score and achieve and win, and has targets and goals. Let that masculine energy form into a person. What does he look like? What's he wearing? What type of hair does he have, if any? What's his name? Ask him his name. What does he do? What does he want? What does he need to be happy? And then notice out of the background, his home appears. Where does he live? Go with him into his home. What's it like inside? Now tell him you want to introduce him to someone. Bring him out. And you appear back in the center while he's still at his home. She's at hers. You watch them come towards you in the center. As they come towards the center, they notice each other. There is a special connection, a deep connection, like none they've experienced before. As they come closer and closer, the energy pulls them more together. Give yourself permission to do this and breathe. It's okay. Keep breathing. Remember that breath, what it does. Keep the breath happening. It's okay. As they come together, notice that electricity between them and notice it in you, how you feel it. As they come together, you feel it. They might come together as lovers, as siblings, as mother, as father, as daughter, as son. However they come together, it is a unique connection. Electric. Ask them now what it is they need. How do they feel together? Let her invite him to her home. What does he do when he goes inside? How does she feel with him inside her home? How does she feel? What does he do? Let him invite her back to his home. She comes in. How does she feel in his home? How does he feel with her there? What does she do? And let them come back to the center together and embrace and feel their rhythm together. Notice how their breath has become one breath, and with it, your breath is their one breath. You are both the creator of them and the child of them. Every emotion you have, it belongs to one of those two people. Get to know them. And when you feel something, you can talk to them, knowing whether it's your female or your male who feels it. Whichever one feels it, the other one will always be there to support them now. This is the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost. This is the yin, the yang, the bit in the middle. The past, the future, the present. This is the Trinity. You are the Trinity.